I was skeptical about this one. I mean, I've seen my fair share of sump pumps over the years, and most of them just feel like overbuilt bricks with a cord. But then I had to replace the one in my brother-in-law's basement after a particularly nasty storm flooded the whole area. The old pump just couldn't keep up, and the repair guy handed me this Zoeller Shark Series D807 like it was no big deal. I figured, what's the worst that could happen? Well, 2 years later, it's still running like it's brand new. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What really surprised me about this pump is how quiet it is. Most of the time, sump pumps sound like a jet engine about to take off, especially when they kick in during a heavy rain. But the Zoeller Shark series runs so smoothly you almost forget it's even there. That's a game changer if you've got a finished basement or a living space nearby. I've had it running at night, and you can barely hear it over the hum of the fridge. The build quality is another thing that stood out. It's made entirely of cast iron, which is way more durable than the plastic or aluminum options you see out there. My brother-in-law's basement used to flood every couple of years, but since we swapped in this Zoeller, there's been zero issues. The oil-filled design helps with heat dissipation too, so it doesn't overheat even when it's working hard. That's a big deal if you live in an area with frequent storms or heavy rainfall. Now, let's talk about the impeller and cutter system. This thing is designed to handle just about anything you throw at it, rags, small toys, even wet wipes. The vortex impeller creates a whirlpool effect that keeps debris moving through the system without clogging. And the tri-slice cutter? It's got 3 independent cutting edges that shred anything that gets close, so you don't end up with a pump that's jammed and useless when you need it most. I tested it with some plastic bags and cardboard, and it chewed through everything like it was nothing. The vertical float switch is another smart feature. It's designed to activate the pump at the right water level, so you're not constantly draining water when it's not necessary. That saves a ton of energy and wear and tear on the motor. Plus, the 11/4 NPT vertical discharge means it can handle a good flow rate, up to 45 GPM max and 55 feet of head pressure. That's more than enough for most residential basements. I've got a pretty large sump pit, and this pump keeps up without breaking a sweat. Installation was straightforward, too. The 15-foot cord gives you plenty of flexibility to plug it in where you need it, and the vertical discharge setup makes it easy to connect to your existing plumbing. I didn't need any special tools or professional help to get it up and running. Just make sure you follow the instructions carefully, especially when it comes to the oil fill and checking the float switch operation before you put it in the pit. Now, I'll be honest, there are a couple of things that might give you pause. First, it's a 230-volt pump, so if your home only has 120-volt outlets, you'll need an electrician to set up a dedicated circuit. That adds to the cost, but it's worth it for the power and reliability. Second, while the pump itself is built like a tank, the float switch is plastic. It's durable, but if you're rough with it during installation, you could crack it. Just take your time and handle it gently. Overall, though, I'm really impressed with the Zoeller Shark Series D807. It's quiet, powerful, and built to last. If you're in the market for a new sump pump, especially if you've dealt with flooding before, this is one you should seriously consider. It's not the cheapest option out there, but when you factor in the durability and performance, it's a solid investment. So if you're tired of sump pumps that sound like a freight train or can't handle the job, give this one a look. The link is below.